Namaste. The Consulate General of India, Frankfurt, welcomes you to our series 9 Women, 9 Success Stories. This series is dedicated to all the remarkable women who believe in the power of themselves. May we know them, may we be them, may we raise them. India is a land of festivals. Navratri is a very important sacred festival that is celebrated in India over a span of 9 nights. During each night, a various form of the divine feminine is remembered. One among this is Mahagauri, who is remembered for her purity and inner beauty of every living being. As the part of Navratri series, we introduce you every day to a remarkable Indian woman who has found for herself a very significant place in Germany. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you to Miss Purvisha Pauli. She is born and raised in Germany. Purvi holds very strongly to her Indian roots and uses every opportunity to promote India in Germany. A business graduate specializing in intercultural relations, has supported several companies who have established themselves in India. Currently living in Münster, Miss Paulny is a mentor, an author, a speaker, and a mother. She is a link between Eastern and Western wisdom, both in business and in politics. Miss Paulny is the head of the German Indian Roundtable in Münster and has authored a German book in 2017, which is Chefsache, Integralist Business mit Indien. Thank you, Purvi, for joining us today. And in the beginning, may I ask you to describe a little more about yourself, about the work you do and your interests?
Yes, thank you very much for this wonderful introduction, Resi. And first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the Consul General here at the CGI and you as a team for inviting me here for this special occasion. And I feel very honored to be part of this series. Thank you very much for this invitation. Thanks. Now, you've actually told the most important things. I was born and raised here in Germany. I myself call myself as a Schweberati. I was born and raised in Stuttgart, so the language over there is known as Schwäbisch, Swabian, and Gujarati, Schwäbisch, Gujarati, Schweberati. And I live in North Rhine-Westphalia since 2005 in a place called Münster. And I had a really Indian upbringing in Stuttgart. So everyone who came to our place said, are we in Germany or is this India? I said, yes, for true, this is really India. But today I'm very, very blessed having gone through this kind of upbringing in the Western world. Otherwise, I would not be able to, be the bridge between the two countries. And actually, it's more for me about being the bridge between the cultures, because it's not only me. I don't want to be focused just on India and Germany, because I think from India has a very big wisdom. And the bridge between the Eastern wisdom and the Western knowledge is quite important. Mm-hmm. And we've reached a stage now where if we really want to sustain as humans here in the world, that this separation has an end. Mm-hmm. And we merge this knowledge and this wisdom together in that what we are doing, either in politics, economics, culture, or in society. And that's where I see. So my claim of my business is business comes about when people understand one another. And as a integral and cultural developer, I have a very integral view on my organizational development, which I'm doing very much also in India. And the intercultural part, what I'm also doing, I'm training many companies here on India, and also Indians on Germany, but it should be more. It is more than a holistic view, the integral view. So it says actually everyone is right, but only partially. So this is something which I'm trying to convey in my work, whatever I do.
That is so nice to hear, Purvi. It is a great pleasure that you hold on to your roots and in your work you bring it together. So can you tell a little more about your reason to be so connected to India, or how do you keep that relationship?
Yeah. this has, I think, a long story now, because we all have our stories, we all have our histories, and now my history has led to me where I'm today, that I'm saying that having the Vedas, for example, and in the connection of this series what we are having, Durga, celebrating Navratri, where we are celebrating goddess Durga, I think it is very much about the female qualities which need to be more visible. Mm-hmm. And I think India has so many gods and so many deities that represent males and female. And I think whatever we have today is not bad. It's very good what we have today. But you can, to a certain extent, see that especially the male qualities have really play a dominant role in whatever we are doing in all the disciplines I've already mentioned, in politics, in economics, in cultural aspects, and in the society. And my wish is, especially if we look at this occasion, Durga, is to bring up more the female qualities and show them. And for me, it's important to differentiate between gender and qualities. We are not talking about women and men. Mm-hmm. We are talking about the female qualities and the male qualities, mm-hmm. which we all are having, are inherited in us, because we all derive from mother and father. So obviously we all have that. So I'm saying that men and women as gender right now, we have to foster our female qualities a little bit more, even women, that we have also lost. And if we foster that, then I'm quite sure that we can find a balance in whatever we are doing, and maybe find new solutions on that. So for me, it's not reinventing the wheel totally new. We have technologies, the artificial intelligence is running out, is going to come. We cannot avoid that. And India is very big and also developing all these subjects. But whatever we do, we need to really foster this. And on the other hand, this should not become another extreme, the female qualities. That is very important to see, because otherwise we will be going into another extreme that also might bring the world again in an imbalance. Balance it, show up, and the female qualities. And of course, as women, we have the possibility right now, is the age to show that, look, we have different solutions for the same topics everyone is working on, and we see it from a different angle and from a different aspect, and let us merge these aspects. That is how I try to implement that also in my coaching, in my mentoring, in my consulting, in projects, when, for example, banks merge here in Germany, so I support them also in their cultural way in Germany, and say, okay, but try to implement also these elements. And I think the Vedas are a very good guidance for that, and give us lots of wisdom which can be implemented here. And as you know, that in Germany many people are following, or the Western world are following the Eastern wisdoms, also in India, also the Buddhism, the Hinduism, and so on. But I'm trying to not to talk about the isms, so Hinduism and Buddhism. That was what lies beneath those religion. That's what I'm talking about.
It's very nice to hear how you talk about bringing the balance between our roots, our cultural roots, and business. It is definitely a motivation to many women, many businesses here, many entrepreneurs who are looking at establishing things here. So what would you say as an advice from your side to women who are looking to set themselves up here maybe in a professional field or a business? What would be your advice to them?
Well, there are many points I can think about, but let's try to focus on a few things. It is more about, on one hand, I say, don't forget your values and stay to your values. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now I'm going to say something that might be a little bit on a different aspect. And but I have learned in my life, due to my upbringing here in Germany, and then having an intercultural relationship to a German husband, for example, that values can be sometimes a very big hindrance. So how to balance that? That is the big question, So to say, on one hand, not to forget your own values, and on the other hand, be open for the different cultures that you are meeting, and not stop, categorizing something in good and bad. You know, that is what we very often do, because we say from our cultural view, we say, oh, this is not good if someone does that, or this is good if someone was that, but on which basis? You know, what I define as good could be something bad for somebody else, and what I define as not good could be something good for somebody else. So it doesn't make sense to cluster that. And on the other hand, I also say that to a certain extent, we can say Indian women do still have, or let's say, have a surrounding in hierarchies, and when they come here, the hierarchies are different over here. Yeah. So looking up to someone is very good. But I always say, don't forget, at the moment you look up to someone, you give the opportunity somebody else to look down on you. So be on eye level, yes, but don't forget what you know and what you bring along. You come, I mean, especially Indian women come from a very big, from a rich country with loads of wisdom. Take this wisdom, but not in that concrete, but that what is within you. And of course, I think even Indian women have become more modern today, and even the parents are more open. What I see when I travel so often to India, I'm 4 to 5 years in India before Corona, of course, in this project, and even seeing that even how self-confident in this context. I'm working in the farmers organization and doing organizational development, and we do work with loads of female farmers there, and to see what kind of self-confidence they have. It's amazing to see that I would have never expected, you know. And women are heard. The other women who come here convey this self-confidence by acting and showing it and say, and this is also the possibility to give maybe also a different image towards India, to say that, look, even India has changed.
Thank you, Purvi. That is definitely words of motivation that the professional women who come here, they always look forward to fields where they could integrate, where they could start being a part of the workforce. I'm sure this is words of motivation for them. My next question would be, this year is a very significant year for India and Germany. This year we are celebrating 70 years of diplomacy. So India and Germany has been in diplomatic relations for the past 70 years. Being a person who promotes Indo-German trade, cultural relations, what do you see as the future for Indo-German bilateral trade relations and also cultural relations?
Yeah, well, I'm different in many, many ways, and also how to maybe answer that. As I already mentioned, as an integral and intercultural organizational developer for individuals and for organizations, for me it is actually moving away from the problems towards constructive co-creation. And in my world, co-creation doesn't always mean harmony. Yeah. So what do I want to say is, rather, if there are conflicts, put them on the table and talk about it. Sometimes from different cultures, from Indian cultures, in diplomacy, in whatever I've experienced, it's actually not in the culture to do so. But if we really want to create new solutions, the cuddle mode will not help us. And what does trust actually from my side mean is that create a room where exactly the pink elephant is put on the table. Put on the table and talk about it. And the trust is then there when you leave the room and say, let's go out for dinner together. And we don't feel offended. So what I think is very much important in politics, economics, in society, that we don't foster our ego too much. We rather foster the thing we are looking at, to create a future for the future generations, for your children, for my children, for everyone's children in future, that they can live in a livable world. And the pandemic, in my point of view, is just a small thing. The climate crisis is something which we all are already facing. Yeah, in Germany, we see what kind of floods and climate change we are facing here. India is facing, South Africa. So many people are suffering due to that. And we will not find good solutions if we are not ready to put certain things on the table and really talk openly about that. And that's what I wish also in the Indo-German relationships, that on both sides that we don't have always those wonderful glancing slides, PowerPoint slides, and saying we are the best, you are the best, these are the best. Say, put it on the table. Look, these are the problems we are having, and I think through this kind of, let's call it love. It's showing a different kind of love. It's unconditioned by saying. And after that, we have discussed about, maybe we fought about it, but still we can go out and speak to each other and look into the eyes. I think this is the most important thing.
That's a very good point, Purvi. So basically, we say that Indo-German relations can grow further by open discussion and open dialogue. That's a very positive note from your side. And Purvi, it has been a pleasure talking to you. We're very proud to see the daughters from India doing so well for themselves in Germany. Wish you all the very best in all your future endeavors. And as the Consulate General of India, Frankfurt, I would like to thank you for your time and for your thoughts. Wish you the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for this opportunity.